Start.
Good morning, sirs. Good morning, ma'am.
Shashank, can you tell me something about yourself?
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, I am from Lucknow and I've graduated in computer science. B.Tech I've done, and after that, having completed that in 2020, I've been preparing for civil services examination, and this is my third attempt, and it's gonna be my first interview.
Okay, so how are you feeling about it?
Ma'am, I'm really excited and I'm really grateful that I've got this opportunity to sit among an esteemed panel so close to my dreams, which I've been pursuing over these years.
Okay, what if you don't get into the service this year?
Ma'am, as I still have some attempts left in my kitty, so I'll definitely be trying much harder, working upon my loopholes in this attempt.
So you mentioned your hobby as Raja Yoga meditation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is it? What's so special about it?
Ma'am, Raj Yoga meditation is basically conducted by a foundation known as the Brahma Kumaris. So in this, it's like any layman can practice it because there is no, you can say, ritualistic need in this yoga, meditation. In this, we are assuming our identity to be as a soul, as an energy entity, one of the, you can say, ansh of God or a part in this universe. So we ultimately clear all the materialistic you can say dimensions of our personality for the time being, and we are concentrating on a higher self. So that really calms us down, focuses us more, and helps us, you can say, take better decisions with a calm mind.
Okay, so there are other types of meditations, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So why only Raja Yoga meditation?
Ma'am, because as I told you, given my schedule in this over these years, I also was inclined towards Vipassana, but I couldn't manage time for that. But as Raj Yoga meditation could be done in the premises of my home, so I chose this. Because ultimately our goals have to be getting the benefits out of the meditation. So I chose this.
Okay, and do you think in our country the grievance redressal system is functioning well?
Ma'am, in our country, grievance redressal system, if we go by the largest one, that is the CP Grams portal, and otherwise also we can say in the dedicated ministries have their portals, but it can be just that the things are going in grey. I can't say that everything is totally good, going good, or everything is bad. I think there have been what we can say, there have been betterments in the grievance redressal systems, but I'm not aware actually about the nitty-gritties of the same.
So apart
Latest developments I'm not aware.
from CP Grams, is
Yeah.
there anything else?
Sorry ma'am, I am not able to recall at the moment.
Do you think that this, because of the lack of proper implementation of this grievance redressal, there's a high amount of corruption?
Yes ma'am, indeed it can be one of the causes for the proliferation of corruption, because until and unless the people at the grassroots are not able to convey what problems they are facing, and if they are becoming a part of petty corruption because they are being forced to pay amounts higher than that. If allowed, can I share one thing I read across in the newspaper recently?
Go on.
So, ma'am, I belong to Uttar Pradesh, so I've been reading the news regarding Lucknow, and I got to know that in the Ayushman Bharat digital cards, the beneficiaries are given a sum of 5 lakh per year for their treatment. But what the doctors were doing, that they were charging a hefty amount of say 20,000 even for those beneficiaries, because simply they were unaware and they had no channels that to whom they can share their grievances. Same goes for the common service centers in the district Lucknow. I was reading that in common service center, for getting your basic details such as the birth certificate printed, death certificate printed, the fees is around 30 rupees, if I'm not wrong. But they were charging as a high amount as 200 rupees. So indeed, ma'am, I can say that non-operation of proper grievance redressal channels definitely adds to corruption, proliferation of it.
Give me some solutions.
Definitely.
Practical solutions.
Definitely, ma'am. Ma'am, first practical solution can be door-to-door public awareness campaigns by dedicated administrative prairies. We can say we can we can also use the connections of ASHA workers. We can also use the platform of SHGs, where the interaction of local people is happening with some government or administrative functionary. So through that, even through the schools, even through Anganwadis, we can create a dedicated public awareness campaign so that people are aware whom to share their grievances with, because that is the first touch point. They should be feeling that this government is theirs, we are working for the public welfare, so that trust building has to be there.
Okay, only regarding the awareness. What about the official government, about their proactiveness in solving the cases in the grievance redressal?
I think from the government side, we should be implementing citizen charters in full letter and spirit. If there are no citizen charters, we have to formulate one with a given dedicated deadline. And having done that, we have to make sure that there are regulatory mechanisms for checks and balances. Here, social audit can also play a good role.
Okay, Shashank, so you have been the mess secretary, Devas.
Yes, sir.
So, what challenges did you face in that role?
So, when I was selected as the mess secretary, that time before our batch came, there used to be one head mess secretary and one junior mess secretary and the mess members. When I came, I suggested that we should be separating the two junior mess secretaries, one in the domain of grievance redressal and one in the domain of nutrition. So this was a new post which was created as per my suggestion, and the reason for creation of this post was again that grievances were not channeled out properly. So the challenges which I faced initially was streamlining the grievance redressal process, because when we are being mess secretary, we have to address the challenges not only from our ear, but the students from across the other domains, like from the law school, from the school of say MBA. I was from School of Engineering and Technology. So there are people you don't know. Earlier there was a system that people generally used to do face-to-face thing. We had our names and numbers pasted on the entry of the mess door, but still that didn't work. So I created a dedicated email as a particular channel, so that any grievances of the people, they can directly mail to them. Those mails were checked by me, and as per the requirements, they were forwarded over from me as per the urgency also to either the head chef or to the head mess secretary of mine or to the requisite person. So that's how it channeled it.
Incident that you remember, like, which was very challenging during your tenure?
So challenging, I can't say in particular, but there is one incident that was really close to me. If you allow, I can share that. So there, in my batch, there were some people from the South India, and they had come to North India for the first time. So definitely they faced some barriers in communication. So there was this one guy who had got mouth ulcers. So he wasn't eating properly for over 2 to 3 days, and he was a quite shy guy by his personality, not so socializing one. So very, you can say, hesitantly he approached me that bhaiya, I am not able to consume food and all, and this is very spicy for me, and I've got mouth ulcers, and this is a problem which I wasn't able to share with anyone, because it's he felt some complex in sharing that he has got mouth ulcers and everything. But he shared to me, I got that resolved. I forwarded this complaint in person to the head chef that his food is cooked aside without any spices per se, a sort of bland food. So he was really happy, and that has really touched me, that yeah, at least he could feel that comfort around me, that he could share with me. So I feel that.
Okay. And your hobby is container gardening.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain it to me as a layman?
Yes, sir. I can better explain it in a comparative way, if you allow me. So basically we often do lawn gardening. We find people doing lawn gardening, but in container gardening is the one in which we are planting trees, planting the plants in containers such as the pots, plastic pots, earthen pots, even poly bags. and even we are able to recycle the used containers, be it plastic buckets or everything, anything which is plastic waste, considered plastic waste. So it's a part of a triple R, reduce, reuse, recycle also.
So Mr. Shashank, what is the meaning of your name?
So the meaning of my name is Moon.
तो क्या आप मुझे बता सकते हैं कि मून को मामा क्यों कहा जाता है?
Sir, I am not aware of the exact reason, but if you allow me, I can take a guess.
Yes.
Sir, if I share an experience from my personal life, so I used to stay earlier in Rajasthan within a nuclear family with me, mom, and dad. And that time during my summer vacations in schools, I used to visit my Nani ji's home, Nanihal. So we can say when I was living there, so Mama ji, my mama, was very close to me, and he used to say ki in mama we get the words 2 times as ma. So the authority, or we can say the relation of a mama is very much similar to your mother. So I think it's a relation of love. So that's why I can say कि
नहीं, मेरा सवाल ये था कि फिर मून को ही मामा क्यों कहते हैं, सन को क्यों नहीं कहते?
I think it's more about the energies, we can say. If sun is somewhere considered as fearful, more energetic, something very red hot, moon symbolizes calmness, coldness, you can say something comforting. So that's how I can link it, that the role of a mama in Nanihal is of calmness, composure, comfort, which you feel at your home with your mother. So I think in that way I can relate it.
तो क्या ये जो क्वालिटीज आपने मून की बताई
जी,
और आपका नाम भी मून से सिमिलरिटी रखता है, तो क्या ये क्वालिटीज आप अपने अंदर पाते हैं?
जी सर, I think I have those qualities.
अच्छा ये बताइए, हिंदी सिनेमा में आजकल देखा जा रहा है प्लेजरिज्म बहुत बढ़ गया है
हिंदी सिनेमा में.
हिंदी सिनेमा में, तो उसको लेके आपको क्या लगता है, इसमें कुछ रेगुलेशंस होनी चाहिए या फिर इसको ऐसे चलते रहने जाना चाहिए?
Sir, plagiarism not only in the cinema but in any domain has to be checked, because it is said ideas are nobody's property, but still, as per the intellectual property regime, we should be considering that uniqueness and innovation should be valued, and until and unless that is not getting, you can say, checked by plagiarism, if people are using and just copying things, so innovation would eventually die out. And if we need to value innovation, plagiarism has to be kept in check, be it in the field of cinema or any other field.
तो उसको कैसे रेगुलेट किया जाना चाहिए, आपके हिसाब से क्या स्टेप्स हैं?
Sir, in Hindi cinema, as you were saying, if you read, I have mentioned my research paper which has recently gone published in 2023 itself. So my work was this one only, that in Hindi, how I am able to detect plagiarism. Because if in our college, we usually used to have softwares which could check plagiarism in English language. But there have been no such robust software which could reduce the plagiarism in Hindi or any other regional language. So in my model, I've tried to check the plagiarism in Hindi language not only in the semantic manner. Can I tell with an example? Can I explain with an example? So in semantic manner, I mean कि if there is written मेरा घर का रंग लाल है, say another person also is written मेरे घर का रंग लाल है, तो it's the same sentence 1 is equaling to sentence 2. But if we paraphrase the second sentence, say राम श्याम का भाई है, in second sentence if it is written श्याम राम का भाई है, so on prima facie these appear as two different sentences, but as we have human intelligence, we know that they both mean the same. So similarly, using synonyms, antonyms, paraphrasals, these layers I have added in my model to better detect plagiarism in Hindi. So this can be a one methodology.
सर्वोत्तम मॉडल ऑफ गवर्नेंस के बारे में आप बता सकते हैं, आपने जीआरएम का जिक्र किया है.
Sorry?
सर्वोत्तम मॉडल ऑफ गवर्नेंस, व्हाट इज इट?
Sir, I definitely had read about it, but actually I'm not able to recall at the moment.
If I give a hint, it is regarding citizen charter.
Yes, sir, it is about citizen charter. It has, I think, 3 or 4 components, but I am not able to recall at the moment.
GRM is also involved. So ये बताइए हार्ट अटैक के जो केसेस हैं
जी
वो आजकल यूथ में स्पेशली काफ़ी बढ़ते जा रहे हैं और जो रेगुलर वर्कआउट करते हैं
जी
उनमें भी हो रहे
जी
हैं। इसके आपके हिसाब से क्या रीजंस हो सकते हैं और इसको कैसे इसको टैकल किया जाना चाहिए?
Sir, I think there can be 2 and 3 prominent causes for it. First of all, it is, you can say, the social media culture. People are not understanding their body types per se, and they are following the set pattern of workouts which are meant for, say, one kind of body, one kind of height, one kind of BMI. People are not going into the nitty-gritties, and they are just following social media and picking up that the same regime which their bodies are not able to take up in the right manner. So it's an over exertion for their bodies to take up. So they are not taking the workout organically. Secondly, it's about the food. People are working out, but they are consuming too many supplements alongside without checking the proper labels and all. You can see, similarly goes for our regular food intake also. It has got included with so many of, you can say, chemicals, pesticides and everything. People are just focusing upon making their body fit from the outside, but what about inside? That aspect is, and awareness is still lacking. Thirdly, I can say it's about the peer pressure at times, that people, again, it can be related to social media only, but again in the name of peer pressure, can I share one thing? So when I joined gym in the initial days, I had a partner with whom I used to go. So that guy had been doing gym workout for quite some time. So when I initially got into gym, so he was like trying to push me harder for the initial few days. But actually I resisted because I knew that there has been some time since I have not been working out. So what happened? We were 3 in that group. So the third guy actually followed his instructions and was trying to push very hard, and he got muscle injury the next day. So that's what the thing is. Ki you are the best, you can say, person to know what your body is feeling. You know how you have been living. So just in the name of peer pressure, one should not yield that what others will think, that we are lifting very, you can say, feeble weights in the initial days. It's fine. We have to progress organically, I should say. So if our youth consider these small things, then workout and heart attack link can be dismantled a bit.
Okay. So sir, are you aware about the recent happenings going on in the news?
Yes, sir.
So are you aware that more than 100 MPs have been suspended in the parliament?
Yes, sir. I had followed this, but I haven't gone deep into the issue. I have only read the headlines, sir.
Okay. Just based on headlines, do you know the reason of suspension?
No, sir. I couldn't read that.
Okay.
I'll surely read about it when once.
I would explain in 2 sentences that some visitors visited the parliament. They used container gases
Okay. Yes,
in
sir.
the parliament, and parliamentarians asked the proper answer for this security breach. Although their methods were not good, they used placards and they shouted for proper response for this security breach in the parliament. Whatever be the reason, do you find that it is justified to suspend more than 100 MPs? What are the harms done by this and how it could have been avoided? Do you think it should be avoided? And if it should have been avoided, then what would have been the proper response?
Sir, I think the suspension of 100 MPs in one go is absolutely not justified, because that Parliament is the temple of democracy. We have representative form of government, and if people representatives, say 1 per constituency, is not sitting in the Parliament, who will the people go to for their grievances or for their, you can say, as the touch points? Because many times it can happen that the parliamentarian who has been suspended is from one constituency, and from that constituency only that person is the touch point. So I think it is a regressive step in democracy if we are suspending so many people in one go. And as you said, what can be the proper channel for this? I think there should be some cooling off period where this can be done in batches. If the grounds of suspension are genuine and all 100 MPs stand to be suspended, they ought to be suspended, but not in one go, I should say. There should be some batch-wise system for this, so that the strength in parliament is maintained.
How to decide that which batch will be suspended? Let's say in the news, 140 MPs have been suspended, and they have suspended in 3 days of time, 3 days, right? So how a chairman of the house will decide that today this 40 will be suspended, next day this 50 will be suspended? How they will decide it? Let's say you are a chairman, how do you decide? Are you aware about the privilege committee?
About the?
Privilege committee.
Sir, no sir, I'm not very clearly aware.
Are you aware about ethics committee?
Yes sir, I read that about in the news, but details I'm not sure about.
See, by just looking at the name, you can observe that this type of behavior could have been referred to those committees.
Yes sir, indeed.
Don't you think it?
Indeed sir. I was following the Mahua Moitra case, so that also has taken some time for the investigations to take it, and only recently she was suspended, right? So I think indeed sir, if referred to these committees and given some time, so they being conducting an independent investigation would be a better option for the suspension to be taken place.
So Shashank, do you think UP should be divided into smaller states?
Ma'am, there have been these bubbles of dividing UP bursting again and again due to plethora of reasons. But I do not think that UP should be divided again.
Why so?
Sir, because I think UP as a cultural entity, UP as a state is the new India's growth engine. And every state has its problems, has some districts which are backward, have some districts which are thriving very much, thriving ahead of other districts. This is because India is a diverse country, be it in geographically, be it in terms of literacy. There's so much variation across the nation and within states, within districts.
Against creating smaller states?
Ma'am, I'm not against creating smaller states per se, but until and unless there are really genuinely concerned administrative needs for that, which are actually directing to public welfare, there is no need for bifurcation of the states, because again that would not be solving the ground level problem. Ground level problem which basically people suggest for division of UP is Bundelkhand, because Bundelkhand has historically been a relatively backward region in Uttar Pradesh. Same goes for eastern UP if we compare to the western UP. So I think the problems will still persist when a new state is being created. The better option would be targeted policies for those areas, as our UP government has been doing recently. In the Global Investor Summit also we saw that dedicated investments and MOUs have been signed for Bundelkhand. Even in Bundelkhand, in recent UP's tourism policy 2022, special concessions have been given to the to the people who are planning to set up cities in film cities in Bundelkhand. So this is how we can bridge the developmental deficit. Creation of small states would not be a panacea.
So you have published a paper, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So where was it published?
Ma'am, it was published in Springer Journal, and within that journal there was the MTAP, Multimedia Tools and Programs. That was the sub-journal of that.
So why research culture is not so much in India? What are the reasons?
Ma'am, I do feel that research culture is thriving in India if we consider the present scenario, but definitely there are certain roadblocks, and they definitely stem from number one, the lack of enthusiasm in people for the research work and the eagerness to pursue a regular job in the corporate world right after the graduation. Secondly, it is about the, you can say, the resources available at hand for accessing the research work, because whenever we are writing research papers, we have to go through so much of literature reviews, and many of the eminent research papers are not available in public domain as such, and we have to pay a amount for that. So I think until and unless one belongs to a certain education institute which is able to collectively give access to such paper journals, it is very difficult to continue with your literature review. Thirdly, I consider that the research culture is also lacking in terms of equal participation between men and women, which has also been the case in the STEM. In STEM, we also see that women are less.
So what are the initiatives taken by government recently to improve research culture?
Ma'am, I am not really sure about the names of the program, but there have been many scholarships.
Has there been anything in new education policy? Mention of research, promoting research.
Ma'am, there would be those things, but I am not able to recall at the moment. I'll surely read about it.
Okay, Mr. Shashank, you have political science option.
Yes, sir.
Okay. तो क्या आप मुझे बेसिक डिफरेंस बता सकते हैं क्या मार्क्स और हीगल के बीच में?
Marx and Hegel. Sir, the basic difference, if I have to give in one line or the fewest possible words, sir, while Hegel believed in historical materialism, Marx believed in dialectical materialism.
Is it historical materialism or ideological materialism?
Sir, Marx considered ideology as false consciousness.
No, I am talking about Hegel. क्या उन्होंने आइडियोलॉजिकल मटेरियलिज्म दिया था या हिस्टोरिकल मटेरियलिज्म दिया था, या दोनों सेम चीज़ है?
Sir, Hegel, as my part of syllabus, I have had a very faint idea, so I am really very sorry that I am not very clear about Hegel's political theory.
नहीं तो आपने शुरू में बोला ना कि हीगल का हिस्टोरिकल मटेरियलिज्म था.
I have only a very faint idea about Hegel.
ओके, तो ठीक है, इसको एक बार देख लीजिएगा. अच्छा, मुझे ये बताइए, व्हाई मैकियावेली इज नोन एज द चाइल्ड ऑफ हिज टाइम?